Hi everyone, my name is Eva Coles. I am a junior psychology major here at North Carolina A&T, and this is going to be me answering the questions that were posed for discussion board 2. Okay, so the first question is, according to the readings, podcasts, and videos, how is behavioralism defined? Who are the key scientists that constructed the theory, and what does this mean for learning? Okay. The key scientists that helped develop this concept were Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, and Thorndike. A lot of the testing was found to be primarily done in labs on animals, not on children in their natural environment settings. A lot of the strategies used in the school setting come from these practices and findings of these men. This to me means that a lot of this is outdated. As I saw when watching the posts of my peers from Discussion Board 1, a lot of us have been affected by the societal boundaries of the school system or book smarts. We have been trained to navigate the school setting in ways that demean our natural human intellect. I think that a lot of the findings of Pavlov and Skinner were basically trying to control the child, control their behaviors, control what the actions that they wanted to see from the child. And that being put into or institutionalized into the school system is literally just forming a culture where it's acceptable to just control the child. That's what they wanted to do in our education system. They wanted to control us. They wanted to promote the behaviors that they wanted to see from us and demean the behaviors that they didn't want to see. Question number 2 is, according to Reward's work, sometimes, what are some of the flaws in behavioralists' thinking and why? The main flaw in behavioralist thinking is the reward or punishment system. Children are becoming more aware of this ranking system in the school setting and amongst their peers. They are able to identify tier 1, 2, and 3 level students. You can see how this can be a problem because if Sally knows that she's better than Jimmy, then not only does that put Jimmy on a I can't do anything, I'm a failure pedestal, but that also boosts Sally's ego to where maybe if she doesn't do so good on a certain assignment or a quiz or an assessment, that she's automatically thinking that, dang, I'm just as bad as Jimmy. So you can see the give and take of this model. This reward good behavior and punish bad behavior is no longer working because children are no longer focused on the learning aspect of school, but more on the prize. I have personally noticed this in my job working after school care, that rewards don't really even promote the troubled kids to want to do better at all. They really don't even care about the reward anymore, excuse me. And I've also seen the opposite of this too. The troubled kids also aren't affected by the punishment anymore. Obviously, in an after-school program, there's not really much punishment that we can do because it's not hindering their learning. They're just choosing to behave poorly. So the most that we can do is sit them out from the activity in a timeout, which hasn't been affecting them as much as I feel like it did in the past. On to the third question. According to punishment works sometimes, what are some flaws in behavioralist thinking and why? The main flaw in this form of thinking is that discipline is associated with training children to obey rules and codes of behavior. The article states that expulsion or suspension does just as much or even more damage than physical punishment, and it sets back the child's learning because they are missing school. Something interesting that goes along with this is that children who are expelled or suspended in early education are 10 times more likely not to graduate high school and are also more likely to end up in jail. Punishment also damages the innate learning capacity that all children are born with. A safe and welcoming classroom cannot be maintained when children are competing with each other. In my career at the YMCA, I often use timeouts, as I stated before, as a form of punishment. And if the behavior persists, then I do talk to the parent's child. However, in my experience, those two forms of discipline work for me. However, I've seen that with some children that our bond or relationship is affected when I'm forced to give the parents a bad report.